Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. All three commissioners are present. It was properly posted on May 31st. District 3 will let us in the prayer and pledge.
Mr. Barnes, if you would step up and bless us with your presence. Thank you for being here.
Let's pray. Father God, we're again truly grateful for another day that you've given us, Lord. We thank you for protecting Oklahoma County and surrounding areas from severe weather this year. When we lift those up who, Father, have been adversely affected by that you would grant them the resources they need, and the folks in leadership positions, Lord, would have wisdom from you. I lift up the commissioners today and staffs and others of Oklahoma County and ask, Lord, that you would just guide and protect. Help us to keep our focus on you. And Father, we just praise you and thank you in the name of Jesus. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion to approve May 29th meeting minutes?
I'll move our minutes.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Is there a motion to approve the claims?
I'll move our claims.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any change to the blanket? No change to the blanket.
Motion to approve blanket.
Oh, second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opening of the bids.
Good morning. We have one bid opening today. This is for CW 25004 for Senior Center Services. We received a bid from Daily Living Centers. And Metropolitan Better Living. And that concludes our bid opening.
Chantel, can you tell us who will be on the review committee?
Generally, for this proposal, we work with the department to discover that. Of course, the BOCC can identify anybody, and this could be an appropriate time, but we work really closely with the department, and that's all that's really been identified right now, is with social services.
I'll move that the bids be tabulated and returned to us.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Any individual consideration? Thank you. On the consent docket.
I'll move our consent docket.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
At this time, is it the board's pleasure to go ahead and go into executive session since attorneys are present?
Yes. I'll move we enter into executive session.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Is there a motion to return to regular session?
I'll move we return.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Want to go ahead and resume the agenda. I don't think it'll take long to knock out District 1. Steve
Yeah.
Cooper.
Item number 10 is to appoint Mr. Steve Cooper to serve in an at-large position on the Citizens Bond Oversight Advisory Board, which provides the commissioner's direction for the new jail construction. This position is vacated by Larry Stevens, and we double-checked and made sure that we officially received Larry's resignation letter. Steve's CV should be attached. I think both of you know him or at least are aware of him. He has a long history in the construction industry, serving as owner's rep for a lot of public projects and private projects. I met with him last week and he's very interested and excited to serve. So I'm putting this forward for your consideration. I know this is the first person we've considered for this at-large position. So I'm open to other suggestions, but I thought Steve would be great.
That's
Mr. Mason's still around. I think he had something. Yeah. About Mr. Steve Cooper, if you would. Yes.
Hi, my name is Steve Mason. I chair the Citizens Oversight Board for the new jail, and speaking as an individual, I support Mr. Cooper. He's a good guy. Together, we built the lovely Camp Trevera for the Girl Scouts a couple of years ago. And during this difficult time of the jail process, for him being willing to serve speaks to his love for our community. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, is that your motion?
I'll move that we appoint Steve Cooper to the at-large position.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper, for your willingness to serve. Item 11.
Item 11 is just to officially accept the donation of 10,000 tons of usable aggregate from Willowbrook Construction Services for our District 1 yard.
Congratulations.
I'll move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thanks for the generosity.
Yeah.
Item 12 is an addendum to the State Auditor Inspector's Office Engagement Letter. If you have any questions, sir, motion.
I'll move we approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And then this is the OSU lease agreement for the extension service.
Any changes? None.
I don't
Joe
think so.
probably has looked over this a million times, so
I thought it was the same.
motion to approve.
And just for clarification, am I correct that of the two physical buildings on their campus, OSU owns one and the county owns one? I think that's correct.
So it's a very convoluted situation there.
Okay.
The county does own,
One, and I think OSU Extension owns the other.
it's a very small part.
Yeah.
Compared.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The next item is a mutual cooperative agreement with Pottawatomie County within the efforts of hopefully someday being able to do the Pottawatomie Road, which I think you're interested in doing also from the portion that goes up into District 3. So
That's true. Motion to approve.
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
District 3.
Oh, okay. Number 15. This is a legacy item. This is for a piece of property that the county is part owner in. And I just lost it. It is what used to be Arcadia School. The town of Arcadia owns part of it, and we own part of it. This is nothing more than a quick claim deed to declare that we're giving this to Arcadia. They want to turn it into a community center, and they got a REAP grant to do asbestos removal. It's going to be a great thing for them. So,
Cool.
if there's not any questions, I'll make a motion to approve.
Declare surplus first.
Oh, sorry, motion to declare surplus. You're correct.
I'll second.
All
Thank
in
you.
favor, say aye.
Aye.
Now you need to do a follow-up
That-
motion.
Yeah, execute a quick claim deed. Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
16,
Oh, let's get there. Come on.
CED.
Oh yeah, Herd of Turtles. This is my reappointment to CED that Commissioner Bloomert was so grateful to give to me. It's actually a great thing for the county. We, with Stacy's help, we're actually able to take one of our projects and actually jump 5 years. Mostly because there was a surplus of funds, and it's been a joy to actually work on that group. I like working there, so unless anybody else wants to do it,
No.
I continue to serve.
Thank you, Miles. I'll move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
17 is the mutual agreement between Oklahoma City and Oklahoma County to instruct and improve a street. This is the first one of these that I'm aware of District 3 doing, and look forward to it, and it's in Councilman Carter's district. Motion to approve.
And Stacy, just for clarification, each individual district has to have an MOA with the city if we want to. It's not
No,
a
so-
county MOA with
That's
this with the
typically how
city.
you've always done it.
It's district by district. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, and 18 is resolution for the interlocal cooperative agreement between us and CED 5. Motion to approve.
I'll go back. Okay.
Want to go ahead and second this motion?
This
before we do
is-
something else?
This is the agreement between Oklahoma County and CED
Okay.
5.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We need to do something.
Yeah, Commissioner Davidson, we need to go back to item 16, when we
Okay.
appointed you to serve as the main
we gotta
representative
do-
on CED. We need to add an alternate.
Would you be willing?
I'm happy to serve as alternate.
I think we do all three. It's who's first, second, and third, right?
Okay, we can do that.
Okay.
Because,
I don't think there's a problem with that.
On item 16, I'll move that Commissioner Davidson is our main appointee to CED. I'll serve as first alternate, and Commissioner Mon can serve as second alternate.
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you
Thanks for the catch,
catching
Sharon.
that.
Oh, where are we at? 19?
I think
Yeah, so 19 is similar. This is another project between us and Oklahoma City. This is for North County Line Road, beginning at Wilshire and going to Britain.
Let's make sure you got our vote for the other on
To
18.
renew, yeah, we renewed the CED. Okay.
All right, go.
Motion to remove the agreement between the CED 5 and Oklahoma County.
you said renew, correct?
Yep.
Okay, second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Now 19.
Again, 19 is County Line Road project between Oklahoma City and Oklahoma County. Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The assessor, Marcy.
For MidCon. Okay. Move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Barnes.
Good morning, Commissioners. Item number 21 is a land use agreement between OU Board of Regents and Oklahoma County. It's for about a 30-foot square piece of property out at the radio tower site in Spencer Jones. Excuse me, they have a mesonet weather site there. There's like 118 of those around the state. Very, very good project. And they just simply use that. There's no monetary request or any payment for that space.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Item 21 is our annual lease agreement with the City of Oklahoma City for office space at the Regional Multi-Agency Coordination Center, or the bunker.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Stacy.
Thank you, David.
This is our lease agreement for our plotter and our copier.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Eric.
The first item that we have from the Planning Commission is from the May 16th agenda from the Planning Commission. The first item is a request for a special use permit to allow for a wedding venue. The property itself is located off of Dobbs, Northeast 164th Street. It's about a half mile east of Dobbs on the south side of the road. The property itself encompasses 18, almost 19 acres. The application itself is pretty straightforward. They're just wanting to do wedding events, those type of things. The Planning Commission, usually with special use permits, has some issues that they work through at the meeting itself. So those issues in this particular case was days of operation, hours of operation, capacity, parking, signage. So as you can see there on the resolution itself, goes over the days of operations, which is 7 days per week. Hours of operation is from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. The way this property is located, it kind of sits in the middle of a bigger piece of property. So the lighting really isn't an issue just because where it's located at. They want to have 250 persons as far as the capacity of the building itself. They're going to have 125 parking spaces. Noise, they're not going to have any outside noise as far as amplification of sound. That's kind of an issue with some of our other ones that we have in place now. But again, these are things that they've agreed to as far as the special use permit. The Planning Commission voted unanimously to approve this item. That's all I have. I know the applicant here is here if you have any questions for them. That's all the information I have unless you have any particular questions. I do have some pictures of what the building is going to look like if you're interested in that as well.
Do you have anything you want to say?
No, it's not.
That these
Oh,
gentlemen,
there you are. You're standing next to the poster there, so I thought it was you. Okay. All right, it's
And
District 3.
it was unanimous from Planning Commission.
yes, there was only, just to make note, there was only 4 members of the Planning Commission that day, but yes,
Okay.
they all voted for it.
Motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The next item is for a piece of property that's located off of 206th and MacArthur. It's adjacent to the Deer Creek School and Administrative Office Complex. It's east of that facility. The property itself, it consists of approximately 148 acres that they're wanting to rezone from R2 to R1. So that would give them the ability to create lots that are 1 acre in size or larger. This is going to be a residential development. Now, it hasn't been determined how many lots are going to make up this residential development at this point. Really, they're just trying to get to the first stage of rezoning. On the corner itself of that intersection, there is 10 acres that is commercial already. So that's why you have 150 acres in this particular case. And there's a cemetery kind of in the southeast portion of this corner of property as well. There was quite a bit of protest from property owners that are further to the north off of 220th between MacArthur and Meridian. They had some concerns as far as the development that was being placed there. There was also a development that was recently approved by the Board of County Commissioners that is adjacent to this to the north, which consisted of about 200 acres where they were doing a half-acre lots. There was also commercial as part of that PUD as well that was off of 220th and Meridian. So like I said, there was quite a bit of protest. At the end of the day, the Planning Commission voted unanimously to approve the item. Again, there was only 4 members that were at the Planning Commission that day. But that was all the information I had unless there's any particular questions that you have.
Did the Planning Commission, were you there that day?
No.
Okay. Did they say anything about why they unanimously approved this one and the previous one you mentioned they didn't approve?
No, they didn't make any specification between the 2 applications. I will say this application is very similar to the other one. They're going to have access to Deer Creek water. Really, the only difference is the commercial corner is separate from the rest of this property. I'm sure it's owned by the same owner, but they're separate applications to where the other one is all one application. The lot sizes are bigger. I know the school usually has issues with lots out in Deer Creek just because the school is at capacity, so they were there to speak against the application that day. I can only assume just because maybe the piece of property that's adjacent to the north was approved at the smaller acreage size of 3/4 to a half acre size. These lots are larger than that. So this is adjacent to it to the south. So I can only assume that that goes into that decision.
Motion to accept the recommendation of approval.
I'll second.
Is there anybody here to speak on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Infrastructure.
Good morning, Commissioners. As you recall, several months ago, you approved an ARPA project for the jail to do some HVAC improvements. That was approximately $2.4 to $2.7 million. We brought that project back in-house to be funded with ARPA dollars. When we began to look at that project, some additional engineering work was needed, and it was determined that that project would exceed the value of the funds that you had approved for it. You canceled those funds. They were returned to the main 1415 account. We've since gotten the engineering done, gone out to bid. Contract has been awarded, and that's approximately $4.4 to $4.5 million. What you have here is an item to recommend taking up to $5.5 million from ARPA revenue replacement, which is currently in an account to go towards construction of the new jail. Move that down into a line item to handle the HVAC improvements down at the detention facility. And if you approve this recommendation, we'll need a follow-up item at a budget board meeting to create the cost centers.
Stacy, I think I've probably asked you to do this before, but could you really briefly just talk about how this is pretty necessary, even though we are moving to build a new facility, the existing facility still has needs.
Yes, the ventilation system is not in working order, specifically the smoke evac system. This will repair all that. You've got some air handling units that have parts that need replaced. So if you build a new facility, you're 3-4 years out. And so this really needs to continue to function in that 3-4 year time frame.
Okay. I will move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
You want to do commissioner comments now or after?
Oh.
Do you have any that you're going to say? Okay, well, we consider that any new business. If not, we have citizens who have signed up to speak. Mayor Floyd Eason, is he still here? He's gone. School board member Gina Standridge.
Morning. Of course, you know I'm here. I'm opposing the grand location. I've watched over the last 6-7 months. And today I'm just here to say, when you go against the will of the people, and the people have spoken, not just Del City, other people, we don't have a democracy anymore. Our democracy is a government made up of the people, for the people, and by the people, as Abraham Lincoln has stated. What are we doing here? We're not doing that. Del City has had so many small communities step up and support us. Forest Park, Spencer, Midwest City. Most recently, Deer Creek has started reaching out because they've noticed a pattern of going against the will of the people. I think we're all in agreement. We need a new jail. But the majority of the people have spoken, leave it where it's at or close to where it's at. I think if you don't do this, you are going to cause chaos. Pick a location that doesn't affect a community so negatively as what you're doing with Grand. I mean, Brian, you have said 2 or 3 times here, if it was voted down by city council, it would put this site to bed. But we're not doing that. Carrie, you have consistently said no. And I hope you continue to do that and don't make your constituents feel that we were just a pawn or just that you're saving face and voting that way with us. We're going to continue to fight this. Pick a location that doesn't negatively affect a community like ours and Crooked Oak. Thank you.
Mark Falk.
Good morning. First of all, I would like to say that I've never seen a government body fight so hard to go against the will of their own constituents, and I'm appalled at that. I want to speak to a few things. Number one, I'm going to start with a couple of quotes from Brian Mon, who, when the jail was originally passed, that jail bond passed, he made a comment and he said this: we're going to build a mental health facility in this and also a better design. It will be a one-level facility so we don't have the challenge of a 13-story high-rise that we have now. That was on June 27th, 2022. Now I'm going to quote Brian Mon from about 2 weeks ago, May 15th. What we have now is basically enough to build a treehouse. So to me, this shows that you don't have a plan. You've never had a plan. We don't know who is going to run that mental health facility. You never knew who was going to run it. I'm hoping that it's not Turnkey, who has 15 lawsuits in Oklahoma County against them right now, who has had over 100 lawsuits nationwide. I hope that it's not the jail trust, where we had another death yesterday, 2 in 1 week, and we're now at 50 or over 50 deaths since the jail trust took over. If we had that many people die in that jail, how can we trust them to run a mental health facility with compassion and with caring? And finally, I believe strongly, and we talked about this in a press conference the other day, that those ARPA funds should be released to the communities in the county. You have held it over our head, and a couple of you said the other day, no, we haven't been threatening that we're going to lose this money, but I've heard every one of you say, if we don't get a jail location now, we lose the $50 million in ARPA funds. The reality is this: that money should have never been earmarked for a jail. A mental health facility in a jail or as a feeder from the jail is still building a jail, which is illegal. We have sent a letter to the federal government, to the Department of Treasury, questioning the legality of that, and I hope that they come back and tell you and confirm that yes, it is illegal. So this is what you need to do. Slow this process down. Take that money, turn it over to the communities who need that money, where they can build community-based mental health facilities that does not criminalize mental health in Oklahoma County. They have infrastructure projects that they can use it for. There are tons of projects that are legal and proper. You just averted $5.5 million to work on the current jail, so we know that you can do that. So we are telling you now, slow this process down. I don't know what this county sovereignty is. It sounds like some old English BS, frankly. The will of the people is that they do not want that jail 10 miles from Oklahoma City. They do not want it out into the county near homes, near churches, near schools. They want it downtown. And I know, Miles Davison, that you have too many connections to this. You shouldn't even be voting on this. You said that your best friend owns that property, and we know that the deal is that if they sell this property to us, they will give it to us if we give them in return the property where the jail now sits. This wheeling and dealing has got to stop. It is time for you to look at the will of the people and your own constituents and do the right thing. Do the right thing for the people that are in that jail, for the families that are suffering, for the communities that need your help, not to be harmed by you. And take those ARPA funds and release them to the communities that actually need them so they can be put to use now.
Councilwoman Sarah Bana, has she left? Sean Cummings, councilman.
Nothing more. Just a regular citizen. It's going to get worse. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Welcome, everybody. It's good to be back. It's been a while. I'm back here because you had 4 deaths in 5 months at the jail, and I told you if you quit killing people, I would quit coming. You're killing people again, so I'm back here again. So I'd like to know what you're doing to mitigate that. Have there been meetings? What are we doing? What equipment has been brought in? You're spending $5 million on the AC unit, but you know these lawsuits are going to cost you $5 million. So what are you doing to mitigate this right now? And this also falls into the Del City thing. Del City doesn't want the shittiest jail in America. They'll take a mental health facility that's really nice and put together for their own community. Nobody wants the shittiest jail in America in their corner. No one. You don't want it, Mon. Put it in the middle of Lake Hefner if it's so safe. You and I have talked about this multiple times. It's secure, right? It's your district. You can do it. You gerrymandered it well enough, right? Couldn't we do that? Okay, so we're fixing the AC over there, but we still haven't been able to put elevators on to move employees up and down, which has been suggested for years, since this whole thing's going to get muddled in federal court anyway if you go to Del City, because you're doing it because of the minority population, or at least that'll be the accusation in federal court. So it's not going anywhere there. So you guys have done all of this work. You're this many years into it, and we're exactly where we started. How about we fix this jail, make it work until you can run it well enough where people don't mind it being in your backyard. People don't want your shitty business in their neighborhood because it's a shitty business. They still let people out at midnight. Are we going to do that in Del City? And let people out at midnight? We're going to do it at the airport where they didn't have anywhere to go but the airport? Come on now. Have any of these problems been addressed? Any of them? That's why they don't want you there. It's the worst jail in America. Now, you've had years, decades, years, a year to solve any of this. What are we doing with it? And how have 4 people died in 5 months? How are we back to this again? You don't get to blame it on COVID this time. It's not COVID's fault. It's your fault. You guys you run it, you fund it, right? So let's go back to just kind of the golden rule. He who has the gold rules. You have the gold. You have their purse strings. Force this ridiculous entity to do the right thing. Good to see all of you again.
Walter Jacks.
Yeah, good morning, Commissioners. I would suspect that just like the placement of the current jail, this placement of this jail is going to be a 30-year decision. I've provided you maps before showing you not just the area of the lots themselves where the proposed jail sites were when there were half a dozen of them on the list to pick from, but the mile around these areas, the mile around, a mile radius around the East Grand location touches 20% of Del City's population. 20% of the population lives. It's very densely packed into the mile surrounding this location. Del City is a small, resource-poor municipality. I've struggled for the last year trying to get a street sweeper cleaning the curbs in Del City. Del City hasn't got the funds to keep a street sweeper going. Okay? The impact to landlords of rental properties within a mile of that jail and the surrounding area within a mile and a half, you're impacting a quarter of Del City's population with respect to their home equity they've built up for decades of their lives, their entire lives. You're impacting their ability to rent properties. That's their revenue. That's tax revenue for Dell City. Dell City cannot sustain that kind of a blow. If you adversely impacted 12% of Oklahoma City's population, what would that be? You're talking about 80,000 people that you're adversely impacting. You're impacting their ability to have a livelihood if they're landlords. You're impacting their equity that they've built their entire lives. This is too much of a significant portion of Dell City that's going to be adversely impacted if you place that jail there. You've already got a homeless encampment just east of I-35 on the east side of Grand. Go take a look at that. Looking out the window right here between here and the parking garage at the west side of the city hall, there were 13 people camped out there this morning. I'm sure that have been released from the jail or are in the incarceration system in some manner or another. The point is, if you impacted that portion of Oklahoma City, you would sink Oklahoma City as a destination to attract businesses from around the country and around the world. The impact that this would have on Dell City would be fatal to our municipality. It would be fatal. There is no doubt about it. It's not conjecture. Please do not place that jail there. Thank you very much.
Cynthia?
Good morning, Commissioners. I hear from so many people, or not so many people, I hear from some people if I post something on Facebook or somewhere else, that it has to go somewhere. Why can't it just stay where it is? New York City just voted a 30-story jail to be built downtown Manhattan. If we can build the tallest building in the United States, a 1,900-foot building, why can't we build a multi-story jail in its present location? Miles, you ran on fighting federal overreach. How is this different? You disagree with the Oklahoma City Council decision, and you look for a workaround claiming some form of sovereignty. If this passes, you're opening up a can of worms. Who's to say you don't override a Bethany decision, a War Acres decision, a Nichols Hills decision? You set a precedent that every county in every state has the authority over every city in their county. The county is now the governing body, not the cities. That's quite a bit of power you've bestowed upon yourselves. Sounds like overreach to me. Why are you the keeper of the purse, holding the ARPA funds hostage? What part of building a behavioral health facility, mental health facility on jail grounds states your concern for all the people in need of those services, not just inmates? Carrie, you stated that you stand with us, but it appears you're throwing us under the bus. I'm sorry to say, the last interview I saw on TV, it felt like that. Where money is more important than Dell City, it's more important than your district, where money is more important than we the people. It sounds like a $50 million sellout. And how much is that ahead? Feels like cattle. Thank you very much.
Mr. Kuhn?
Yes, good morning. When did you guys get your divine wisdom lately? About 2 months ago we met and you turned down, or you, several times this location on East Grand, you took off the list. Then you put it on. So you've had about 2 months to think about where a new jail could be located. All this time, you knew that the ARCA funds was your ace in the hole. Well, we'll put it off and we can tell the public that if we don't have or we don't get the location on East Grand, our $15 million is going to be wasted. And I've heard that. Carrie Bloomer basically said something very similar. I knew at the very beginning this was going to be an issue. And you're going to put it off until the very end, hoping that this would somehow persuade people to put that jail in that location. And I don't know if you really thought about the 400 million that you're going to have to come up with. You're going to have support for that. Do you know that when this, however decide you're going to raise that money, there's going to be a campaign against that. And I'm going to do everything I can to oppose any money going to the county jail. I voted for it at the beginning, but I will not vote again because I think this, I hate to say this, you guys sitting up there are incompetent of this whole process. And it's just, if you stand back and look at from the very beginning to what we have now, and from what my previous people that have spoke up here, you can see why we're in this situation where we are in now. So please, please consider, not only consider, but do the right thing and find another location. And then we need to worry about the right ARCA fund, but don't use that as a hostage to try to put that location on East Grand. Thank you.
Other citizens to be heard? It's the last one I had signed up. And do you want these items on item 31 to be discussed?
Yeah, I put these items, we don't have to take any action, but I do want to clarify. I put these items on here because they're still properties that I'm interested in, that I'm looking at, especially Reno and Exchange. I've had conversations with a few property owners. So, I mean, we discussed them back in executive session, but I just wanted to clarify that these are still viable options. And I listed them so that we could discuss them in executive session, but I don't think we need to take any action.
Okay. On item 30, in an effort to save the ARPA funds and move forward with building a mental health facility, I'd like to make a motion to direct the county engineer to renegotiate the contract for the East Grand Boulevard location and fully optimize our opportunities of what we might be able to do. Chiefly, of course, to make sure we can still try to build a mental health facility.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 No.
Yeah, all any opposed? If you will try to bring that back to us at our next scheduled meeting, then we can see what that contract looks like. Thank you. On item 32, you want to direct for me to sign?
I'll move that we direct the chairman's office to sign the, oh boy,
Interrogatory.
plaintiff's first interrogatory response.
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any other citizens? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is everybody in?
I mean.
I'm in.
Okay. I'll call the Public Building Authority together. All three trustees are present. It's properly posted on May 31st. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of May 29?
I'll move the minutes.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Is there a motion to approve the claims?
I'll move our claims.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Monroe.
Good morning. Item 3 is to allow the county sheriff's department to hold a foreclosure sale at the Lincoln Building, the event room, on Tuesday, July 23rd, from the hours of 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And Officer Abernathy is here to answer any specific questions you might have.
This is, I think, to be clear for public comment, this is different than the one that the presiding judge has issued a court order for the jury assembly room, correct? Okay. To clear
Is-
up any public confusion.
So this is separate from the sheriff. Is this the same thing as the sheriff's resale?
I don't know that it's
No,
a
these are
resale.
the-
This is a
This is
sheriff's
separate.
foreclosure.
This is completely different.
These are, okay,
foreclosures.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I just
Yeah.
okay. I'll move approval.
Second.
just was trying to clarify.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any citizens to speak for the PBA? Board comments, new business? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.